Hi, welcome to the Belfry. This is the famous 18th hole on the Brabazon golf course. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to give you 3 things that you can focus on if you are topping your iron shots from the fairway. So it's a really destructive shot, especially when you're faced with a long shot over water as we are today on this 18th hole. So just before we get started, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media accounts. So if you don't already, then please go ahead and follow me on there. So a top shot. This is where the blade or the leading edge of the golf club hits above the equator of the golf ball, and the result is a ball which can often travel pretty straight, but it's going to go along the ground, and it's certainly not going to achieve the height or the distance that we require. It can often drain your confidence, and especially after you've hit a nice tee shot into the fairway like I have here, it's really not a good shot to hit from this position. So there are often a couple of things that I see causing this top shot, and as I say, we're going to cover those in this video and give you some things that you can focus on, some practical things that you can do next time you go and play. So the first thing that I would see as being a cause of the top shot is when a golfer has too much lateral movement off the golf ball in the backswing. So you can see how I've shifted significantly into my right side, and then in the downswing they never really ever get back to where they were, and they certainly don't get the pressure or the weight onto that lead leg. What this is going to mean is it's going to mean that the golf club bottoms out before the golf ball, and then when the club reaches the ball it's already begun to ascend or work away from the ground, and that is the reason that we top that golf ball. So effectively what we're saying is it's too much weight or too much pressure on the trail leg, but I very often see that from the golfers who have too much of a lateral sway in the backswing and never quite recover that. Therefore, what I would like you to try and feel is that from your starting position, you're going to feel that your tailbone is actually going to move towards the target, which is going to hopefully help you keep your hips a little bit more centered. If we can keep the hips a little bit more centered, we can very often keep the head a little bit more centered as well. So in this little exercise, I want you to focus a little bit more on the lower body. Feel like the tailbone at the back moves slightly towards the target, and that's going to help you stay a lot more centered over the golf ball. That is hopefully going to give us a greater chance of achieving the desired attack angle, which is a more negative one, a downward hit from those iron shots. The second thing that I see causing the top shots is when the radius of the swing reduces. So we're thinking about the distance between the club head and the middle of you, so maybe your chest, and when we see that distance shorten through a flexing of the elbows, we will therefore catch the top of the golf ball or above the equator. So separating the elbows too much through the hit, shortening the swing's radius, is a great way to ensure that we catch the top of the ball, and again we're not going to get those desired flights that we require. Now for those golfers who do feel that your elbows separate, it is very often due to a lack of or a poor pivot or rotation through the golf ball with the body. If I make a golf swing and I don't rotate my body correctly, I'm generally going to do one of two things. I'm either going to let the club face flip over and I might hit it left, or in this instance we'll find that the elbows tend to separate, split, and as I say, that shortens the radius of the golf swing. So what do I want you to focus on here? Well, I really want you to focus on an area that's about 3, maybe 2.5 feet target side of the ball, and I want you to feel that when you get to that point, the club head could not be any further away from you. So you can see here I can't get that club head anywhere further away from me, and I have got my chest pointing at the golf club. What I don't want you to feel is that we get to this point where my chest is still pointing at the golf ball and that club head is certainly not as far away from me as it could be. So in order to keep the elbows closer, we have to make sure we rotate or pivot correctly through the golf ball. Those are the main 2 sort of swing faults, if you like, that I see causing this top shot. The third thing is really just concept, and it's maybe where you're going to apply your focus. You will see that on the ground, about the width of a club head in front of my golf ball, I've placed a tee peg. Now that tee peg is very low in the ground. It's almost as if I'm just hitting an iron off it. And I almost want you to feel as if that's going to be your goal when you're making this golf swing. That's the object I want you to try and work towards hitting. Now, if we can make a backswing where we feel we stay nice and centered, we can make sure that my focus is on striking the T-peg in the ground after the golf ball, and I can feel like I'm extended at this point about 2 feet past the golf ball with some good rotation. That is hopefully going to ensure that we are making contact with the club travelling downwards, so a negative attack angle, which is exactly what we need from the irons, and that in turn is going to hopefully help you strike that ball a little bit higher in the club face. So in this instance, there's kind of 2 things which are maybe going to be swing things you're going to work on, and the last one is just the concept, is actually having your focus just target side of the ball and trying to make sure we strike that T-peg. Let me have a go. I've got a 5-iron here. I'm probably about 200 markers over there, so I've got 200 yards to go. The flag is a little bit on the front, so maybe just under, but let's see if we can strike this ball nicely and get it on that green. Okay, little divot after the golf ball. T-peg has moved, and that is exactly what I'm looking for from this shot. I struck the golf ball, my club then went down into the ground, I got that nice extended position there, elbows were nice and close, ball flight was perfect, and that is exactly what we need to do if we are to rid you of that top shot. It is destructive, it can cost you shots on the golf course certainly. If we can work towards improving it, your enjoyment of the game is going to go up and your scores are going to come down. That is ultimately what we're trying to do here. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that's helping you if you do struggle with that shot. Let me know in the comments box, love to hear from you. There's a like button down there as well, so if you did like the video, please click that, it really does help me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Loads more videos already on there, and there's loads more being uploaded each week, so click the link in the description box down below and that will allow you to do just that. Thank you again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back here again soon.